Yes, yes, yes. A little slight delay, but we will get on with the show in just a moment here. Just bear with me. Political point will be up in just a moment. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay, just bear with me for just one moment. Once again, this will be political point. And we shall get this show on the road here. Okay. All right, my friends, I believe I am somewhat ready here. Okay, as we take you to another level of respect in the world. All right, we are watching Political Point Magazine. Where the right, where the right is right, and the left, well, the left is really on the wrong side of history. Why? Because political minds want to know. You see? Sorry about that. With tonight's top stories. Well, sound the alarm. Racism and racial statements arise in odd places. Well, let's see. First with the rancher, Cliven Bundy, and then with the NBA. Wow, this is truly fascinating. And Secretary of State John Kerry makes some harsh statements towards Israel. We will talk about that. And the Supreme Court rules against affirmative action. This just points clearly to what direction is this country really heading. We will talk about that, and we will take it to the phones with you, the viewers, and talk about all of this. But, hello, with me, your humble host, William Mitro. Ah, yes, as we zoom in and focus in. Here we go, we got it. All right. My friends, it's just come to pass once again we are looking at situations coming up in the news that are quite interesting. All right, and this, my friends, comes at a turning point of which. Now, first off, I'm going to start with the statements of the rancher. Okay, first off, okay, because remember last week I told you that the rancher had remember last week I told you the rancher's statements, or the rancher was sort of under attack by the federal government in Nevada over his land. All right, and this, my friends, I'm going to put on. Okay, I'm going to put a lot of the show on the Political Point magazine's Political Points of Vision, and in just a moment. But I want to make this is I want to get clear what we are really dealing with here, because we see the direction of the country, and people are now realizing that Obama and the Democrats are just not the solution for the country. So what I am seeing now is a lot of people are waking up to what is really going on in the world. All right, because this is quite fascinating. But now, I spoke last week about the rancher and how he was being attacked by the federal government in Nevada, and and over his land and stuff. But now there's some interesting developments. Okay, there's some interesting developments that have occurred. Okay, with this, because remember, Harry Reid had a vested interest in this land, and supposedly the rancher wouldn't give up his land because he felt that it wasn't on public lands. But mind you, I guess he failed to pay his grazing fees, and stuff. But recent statements have shown up, and it's quite interesting the way things are heading, and it's like racism has come in. Okay, now I really thought, now there was a lot of Republicans and conservatives that stood behind this rancher and stuff, and this all seemed to be an attack, an all-out full assault on this rancher, okay, over his land and stuff. But then the rancher comes out and, oh my goodness, and puts his foot in his mouth. All right, okay. Now, he comes out and he makes these statements about the black community, and we put this all tonight, my friends, in tonight's episode of Political Points. We put this all in the Political Point magazine's Political Points of Vision. All right, but now the rancher comes out and he makes these statements right here. All right.
I'm wondering, Clive and Budgets are wondering about these people. Now I'm talking about the black community. I'm wondering, are they better off with their young women aborting their children? Are they better off with their young men in prison? And are they better off with the older people on the sidewalks in front of their government-issued homes with a few children on them? Are they better off? Are they happier than they was when they was in the South in front of their homes with their chickens and their gardens and their children around them? and their men having something to do? Are they better off?
Well, now, let me see here. What is really going on here? All right, because he made these statements at a press conference about his land, and what does this have to do with anything? Right now, he literally put his foot in his mouth when making these statements. All right, I thought he was gonna be a true American folk hero. All right, he was on the path to being a true American folk hero. Okay, and he had the support of the American people in this. Okay, until he came out and made those statements right there on race and the black community. All right, now, mind you, the black community is actually living better now than they were when in slave times. And Cliven Bundy needs to truly learn his history, because back when comparing the black community now to the black community in slave times is just way far out there. It's way off the mark. All right, namely because when slavery was around, the black community was subject to harsh conditions, torture, and harsh punishment if they didn't abide by their slave owners, who, by the way, the slave owners back then were all Democrats. Oh my goodness. This is just something that people just are not on. I mean, injecting race and racism in this is just not what we need right now. I mean, this guy was on the way. He was on his way to making the best victory for an American that one could ultimately have, and then he comes out and makes these statements. All right, he had the support of tremendous support from conservative Republicans like Rand Paul and Paul Ryan. There was a lot of the political, a lot of the Republicans actually supported this guy, actually came out and supported this guy. But now he comes out and we find out that he's bigoted. Now, after hearing those statements though, okay, after hearing those statements, okay, even his most biggest political supporters like Rand Paul and all the rest of them even had to back off their support and withdraw their support for this guy, because it's just outrageous that one would come out and make these statements. Okay, we are in the midst of looking at victory for especially the Republicans this year, all right, in election year, and we have people out there, in parties such as the Democrats and now this rancher, all right, who comes out and is this really something that we need to develop? I mean, it's just okay. As I take you to this, okay. Now, even as I take you to this, even Rand Paul had to back off a lot of his statements. Okay, whoops, sorry about that. Okay, but Rand Paul had to back off on a lot of his statements here. Okay, or a lot of his support, I should say. All right, for this rancher. Okay, and
Better off, or they have.
okay, but as I plop up on the screen here, okay, I'm gonna plop up on the screen a tweet from Twitter that Rand Paul had made a statement on Twitter about this remark. All right, and I'm gonna show you the statement here. All right, in a moment. But this rancher, okay, this is what Senator Rand Paul tweeted on Twitter. Okay, take a look at this. All right, okay, he says, okay, Cliven Bundy's remarks on race are offensive, and I wholeheartedly disagree with him. All right, so you see there that this is quite the change for the rancher there. All right, which he's just seeming to be so out of touch, and it's unfortunate that an American who seemed to be on the verge of losing his land because the federal government had a vested interest in it, and now he makes these statements that make him look like a fool in front of the American people. All right, this guy, it just doesn't seem like we would have something like this to come to us. I mean, but I am still one to believe that we are a better people than this. All right, we are better than this. All right, we don't need people coming out and making these sorts of racial statements. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And in fact, there are things in the media, I mean, haven't we gotten beyond race here? I mean, this is just ridiculous. Okay, Cliven Bundy, the rancher, and now we see that this is quite the switch from where we really are and where we are and where we seem to be heading. All right, I mean, it's just ludicrous. All right, I thought I had faith in this guy. I really did, and it so disappoints me that people stand out there in front of the public, in front of the American people, and spew off these rants about race and where the racial black community is right now. I mean, sure, there's a lot of problems with the black community, but comparing the way black people are today to slavery, I mean, come on now. Come on. I truly had faith in this guy. I really did. I thought he was on the verge of becoming the next true American folk hero. All right? I really did. I really had faith in this guy. But seeing how he's so out of touch with things now, I don't even know what his story is now. Right? And it's just ridiculous. I can't it's just ridiculous, my friends. We have these people coming out, and I truly just don't understand why anyone in their rightful mind would even have the nerve to even get to this point. Okay. Now, and that's not even the shrill hold. Okay. I have another issue in another situation. Okay, where we now have racism in the NBA. Okay, now I stopped paying attention to basketball when Jordan left. All right, because basketball tended to be kind of stupid at the time. Okay, without Jordan and a lot of their good players. All right, where is basketball today? But now there's another instance, okay, where we have a scene where a basketball coach, makes racial statements. Okay, and this is quite the shock. Okay, but first of all right, let me get into some things that let's get into some other things here. Okay, because I want to stress this in logical terms here. All right, logical terms. All right, is this really where people are heading today? All right, we really want to go over this bridge again. All right, with race and everything else. I mean, it's just ridiculous. We really want to go over this bridge. All right, okay. Yeah, Sterling is the guy's name in the NBA that made racial statements, racial remarks, okay, anti-black remarks, all right, and he was talking to his wife or mistress or whatever, and he stated that he didn't want Magic Johnson anywhere around him or other things. I mean, it was just like a rant and rave and all this other nonsense here that people out there are just hearing from people in high positions. All right, now remind you, the rancher, okay, is now okay, but we have a situation here, all right, where Secretary John Kerry made some illegitimate statements. Oh wait. Oh, we have the comments on the NBA. Okay, all right. I want you to hear this. All right, okay. I want you to hear this. Okay, all right. As we take you to the scene here.
You could bring them in. You could do whatever you want. The little I ask you is not to promote it on that and not to bring them to my games.
Stiviano.
Yep. But see, now, but he had a long rant and of things. Okay, the Rod Sterling, and he had a long rant of things that of racial anti-race things to say, and anti-black, you know, and this is a perfect.
Give them food and clothes and cars and houses. Who gives it to them?
Let me rewind that here. Okay, as we get into the statement here, all right. Okay, let me show you the some statement that he made. So he said. Okay, so he said. Okay. So he says all this. Take a listen. All right. Okay. Oops. Wait.
And cars and houses. Who gives it to them? Does someone else give it to them?
The comments.
Yeah. But anyway. But President Obama weighed in on this too. All right. Let me show you this.
When ignorant folks want to advertise their ignorance, you don't really have to do anything. You just let them talk.
The president.
Really? When ignorant folks. Really? Okay. But all right. But this is the guy right here, Rod Sterling. Okay. And but Obama says when ignorant people get into their rants, you just let them talk, right? Well, I don't know, but there's been a lot of ignorant things that Obama has said. All right, but but on this, just let them talk. What? Sure, okay. Oh, so now all of a sudden he is for free speech? But there is a thin line, though. There is a thin line between free speech and hate speech. All right. And this just draws the line. All right. It draws the line. Okay. I just don't get it. All right. They just can't be. They're not in my books. All right. This is not the America that, people out there. Okay, now there's bigotry in the NBA. All right, and mind you, the NBA is mostly comprised of patriotic Black Americans. That it's. But our relationships are coming to play here, and it's just I don't think that these people get it. All right, okay, but apparently John Kerry made some statements here. All right, and I want to get into this too. Okay, our relationship with Israel, okay, has been a little shaky under this administration. All right. And Secretary of State John Kerry came out with some statements. That are quite noteworthy to find here. All right, but anyhow, all right. I want to show you these statements here, because John Kerry, okay, now has a little problem. All right, and I want to show you these statements here because it's quite on the beaten path. All right, okay. John Kerry made some statements, okay, but to the effect that Israel, to the effect that Israel is embarking apartheid. What? No. John Kerry embarks apartheid on Israel. What? Okay, now, mind you, under this administration, their relationships with Israel, the way they have treated Israel is not good. All right, they have not shown Israel that we respect their place in the world. All right, and all right, and this is quite fascinating. We have statements from John Kerry, in which the New York Times, it's just, these politicians don't get it. Okay, we are in the midst of creating a foreign policy that has collapsed, because now we have Russia and the Ukraine, and that whole thing, that went on, and then Syria, still has its chemical weapons. All right, Iran, we can't trust Iran. All right, and here are the statements from John Kerry. All right, here are the statements from John Kerry. You have to hear this. All right, you have to hear this. All right, take a listen to this. All right, you definitely have to hear this. All right, take a listen to this. Right, here it is.
The unitary state winds up either being an apartheid state with second-class citizens, or it winds up being a state that destroys the capacity of Israel to be a Jewish state. Once you have put that frame in your mind, that reality, which is the bottom line here, you understand how imperative it is to get to the two-state solution.
Well, I think his meaning.
Okay, yeah, and now the State Department, a State Department spokesman on that, tried to defend his statements on this, and let me show you her statements. All right, this is ridiculous. All right, take a look at this. All right.
I think his meaning of any comments he makes is his support for a two-state solution, and his belief that it's hard to see how the parties can prosper without it.
Secretary of State John Kerry embarks apartheid on Israel, and the State Department claims to defend his remarks by saying that that's just John Kerry saying that he would prefer, or he thinks that Israel will be moving towards a two-state solution between Palestine and Israel. What is going on here, my friends? The statements of John Kerry, and it's just ridiculous. I think I will take this call. Okay, I will take this call. Hello, you're on the air. What's on your political mind?
Yes, Pete. By John Kerry saying two-part nation, obviously Israel and the Palestinians have not yet to come to agreement, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at, he was saying that that's what they want in their country and their solution. The thing is, Pete, I'm looking at the United States of America is a melting pot since the 40s on immigration through Ellis Island. We allow Chinese, German, Russian, every heritage, diversity as one nation. If you look at Germany, Russia, Ukrainian, you don't see any Chinese affiliates on TV. You don't see black people. You don't see you don't see Iranian people. You don't see a diverse society, a multi, I want to say heritage because I don't like the word cultural. You got these, you don't see Hindu Indians on TV. this overseas foreign policy, these people are just segregated still to this day on their own identity, on their own genetics, basically. I'd like to see more multi-heritage globe. That's what we have to do to go through this. Everybody get along. We're all on this planet. It is alarming that the foreign policies they set in place in sanctions instead of unity with everybody. So they take it out on the individuals for what the intergovernment has sanctioned. They should sanction it amongst themselves because they're the ones creating these legislations and putting things into motion. They shouldn't take it out on the individuals of the street, making them panic and chaos everywhere. I'd like to. You go to Hindu India, you don't see any black people on the newscast. You don't see Chinese. You don't see Connie Chung there. You don't see Nesman. You don't see these people. It's all
you know what it is. You know what it is. It's a lot of these countries, and and Israel's not one of the countries that's doing it, but a lot of these countries, like Russia and Iran, they're putting like a ban on free speech and
they
media.
want a certain set,
and media.
almost documented society, one versus the other. And I think the church issue, the reason the Muslim, Hindus, and Jews are not getting along with Israel is who gets the higher domination of money rules. That's including South Africa, which is wrong, That money's there put to church for people for need and crisis, for when things happen on the globe. I do appreciate the global coming together trying to search for a plane, yet they haven't found it.
Yeah.
They used every jurisdiction possible to find this thing. That's what we need. We need global cooperation throughout the globe, global security. And these countries, I've been watching Scola for years, Denmark, Sweden, Finland. There's no black people on the newscast. There's no Pakistani and Indian, Hindus, Native Americans. There's no Latino Americans. There's no influence other than a one-way society and then voted in one way, and anything that isn't one way for years after another to set that way. They've yet to integrate societies such as all the way from Ithaca, New York, that New York State has developed in the first place to integrate society. There's no integration other than the United States of America at this point, besides London, Canada, Mexico is just started, but look at there's all these other countries are just same color of skin, same old.
I think that just goes to show you that that the American culture and the American society, the American country has just so far advanced itself.
Yes, it has, but it happened in New York State, pal.
No. It happened all over the country.
This island was allowed immigrants, and then ventured.
Listen.
We had Columbus coming over here, maybe, but that fell through.
Listen.
Wouldn't you agree with me? If we're going to do foreign policy, we need all the veterans, all the global to work together, like they're finding that plane right now.
Well, we need to take better care of our veterans.
Yeah. Well, veterans, I brought that up, but global security, the globe, any jurisdiction, any veteran in any suit.
Yes. Well, by John Kerry making the.
I just think that, like you said, we became this strength in diversity and loving everybody's vegetable dinner, meat tray,
equally. Okay.
What I'm getting at is they tend to boast, yet they haven't quite.
But it brings me to
their society up to.
It brings me to another topic, which I was gonna get into before you called in, but I'm happy to discuss with you. Is the U.S. Supreme Court has rejected affirmative action?
Yes, because to two wrongs don't make a right. We
Yeah.
don't want to start this deploy situation and then get into it, and everybody just throw money in for dollars and cents.
Yep. And I agree with it, because I think affirmative action is wrong. I think it's using
I think what they should do-
I think it's using racism to stop racism.
Yeah,
You know.
they should say, hey, Ukrainians, if we're going to show any peace-seeking mission out of this, they should have the Ukrainians guaranteed for what they have left of it to continue, so they go home. How do you tell the Russians from the Ukrainians down there fighting in the streets? So everybody's getting clobbered.
Yep.
How do you, any war, how do you tell a German from a non-German? It always happens that way, and it's always idiots in Parliament that make these decisions. If you do a country wrong or a state, Providence, whatever, at least do it diplomatically, step down, but then put forth something that solution to it all, besides sending two different providences into a war that's never going to win. They didn't cause this to order up this and then just keep it going for a profit game. We cannot go back to that. No?
Yep.
Okay, Pete, I'll let you go.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your call. It's been really enlightening. All right. Now, but yes, what do you, the viewer, think of all of this? All right. And I know people have been paying attention because, like I said before, the U.S. Supreme Court now has rejected affirmative action because we are now a country that has advanced so much further than that. Our race relations. You don't hire someone based on the balance of race. Like in terms of jobs. Back when affirmative action became on the books. It was like they had those all white restrooms and stuff like that, and it was just, it just, but they did it to try to balance how many whites versus how many blacks you hire, and it's like you don't do that. You don't do that. Race should not be the issue of balance. All right. This is just we have come too far and too advanced in this day and age to even suggest that race should be the main factor of your ongoings and things. It's just ridiculous. All right. I mean, I agree with the U.S. Supreme Court. I do not agree with the statements that have been made by the rancher and Rod Sterling, and we have come too far to even get into these kind of statements and bigoted remarks. They make these people look like fools. All right, because we have come too far. All right, we have advanced as a nation. Okay, we are diverse as a nation. Okay, that's why it's called the United States of America. All right, we accept all races. We accept all religions. Okay, we accept all creeds. All cultures. We embrace all orientations. All right, and it's like you see these other countries like Iran and Afghanistan who are disrespectful to women and hurtful towards Jews and gays. It's just ridiculous. All right. Now, ask yourself, aren't you glad that you're living in the United States of America? All right? Ask yourself that question. Because I think America is the best country to live in. All right? You know, whereas if you lived in another country, you know, that's hurtful towards diversity, you know, you would not be better off. All right? So what I am suggesting is, instead of bashing the races, all right, and coming out like that, why don't you find ground to find, you know, to embrace the races, all right, the races and orientation, you know? Okay, now I have expressed in past shows that the Republican Party is the party that embraces everybody, all right, that supports everybody, all right. Recently we had Governor Jan Brewer veto a bill that was kind of anti-gay, all right, and she vetoed that bill because it was hurtful towards gays. And she was saying she by vetoing that bill that would have allowed businesses to reject the services of people, namely gays, because of their orientation. And that, my friends, sends a statement that the Republican Party is not bigoted at all. All right. Jan Brewer made the positive statement that we are not anti-gay, right? We embrace the gay community, and you do not reject somebody's services just because of their orientation. All right. So therefore, instilling the message that the Republican Party actually embraces everybody. It's a big tent party. All right. So, my friends, we are at a crossroads. I guarantee you that this is the time that we come together, and after seeing all that this administration has done and the Democrats have done, all right, people are actually waking up. Okay, they are understanding that this nation will not take it anymore. All right. All right. We will stand up for what we believe in. We will stand up for freedom of speech. We will stand up for freedom of religion. Okay. We will stand up for our Second Amendment rights, and we will stand up to overreaching government. Okay, no more big government policies. All right. This administration has run us into debt. $17 trillion in debt. You know, and that is set forth for our kids and grandkids to pay off with interest. This is not where we want to go. And then we have these public figures making racial statements trying to divide the country. Okay. This is not where we want to go. All right. I strictly put that non-usage into play there. All right. Because now I feel our politicians are out of touch right now. Okay. The Democrat politicians are out of touch. Okay. That's why we need a hero like Rand Paul who stands up for what's right, okay, and stands up against what's wrong in this country. And he is way high there in the polls there. In fact, recent polls have found that if you put Rand Paul against any Democrat contender, including Hillary, he beats them. All right? So now we are at a crossroads, my friends, where the left has really gone wrong, gone bad, and the right is rising up and coming in, and actually the people are actually seeing which side actually has the better view. All right? And that is the Republicans. All right? Which brings me now to the last words of the night. All right? And I will come into that. All right? Okay, I thank the caller. All right? But I'm going to take you to the last words of the night, and that is, my friends, I have been moving further and further into my relationship with my new girlfriend, Felicity Smith. All right, and this, my friends, is her. All right, driving her car. I send a shout out to her because she is a true inspiration in my life right now, and she is really helping me with a lot of things. And now I just found out that she also works for the Green Dot organization, Green Dot card services. All right, and long before, which, by the way, I happen to be a member of. All right, long before her and I got together. All right, I actually became a member of Green Dot. All right, I have 2 Green Dot cards. Okay, and I've had them for a while now. But okay, and speaking of which, I would like to send a shout out to the whole Green Dot team. Okay, as you see in that picture. Okay, Felicity is in that picture, right? Too, and I send a shout out to the whole Felicity and the team of Green Dot in there. All right, you guys are the best, helping people with their finances. Okay, it's just an awesome organization, an awesome group out there, and I thank Felicity for everything that she does. She's also on call for the military too, but she is true inspiration there, true inspiration there. All right, and I truly love her. All right, so this is my shout out to Felicity and oops, wrong one. Sorry about that. Okay, but that's my shout out to Felicity Smith and everything. So Felicity, I thank you for everything that you do for me. All right, and I thank you for watching Political Point magazine. That is the last words of the night. All right. Follow me on Twitter at WilliamMitro2, and also I have made an impact on a positive impact on people that live with Felicity too. So I send a shout out to you too. All right, love you. Thank you for watching Political Points, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history. All right, watch us on YouTube too as well.